Welcome to episode number 37 of the Reality Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and also ring those bells for all notifications. I swear, the fucking amount of degenerates on social media. My God. So there is this degenerate on Twitter. His Twitter handle is at Dave Not Meltzer on Twitter. I kid you not. This is his fucking Twitter profile. When you have a picture of Michael Cole, look at this. You have a picture of Michael Cole on your Twitter account. You must be a fucking degenerate on Twitter. Look at this. Look how sad this is. Look how sad that is. So Bree tweeted, I replied because I feel sorry for y'all being so miserable that you have to respond to a situation not involving you that's practically begging for attention. Practice what you preach. Oh my God, Bree. Speak facts there, girl. So this 500-pound fat slob, let me say this right now. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you do not have a picture of yourself on social media, at least on Twitter, you're a fucking degenerate. You're a fucking degenerate. Just that simple. Just that simple there. And then this 500-pound fat slob, Michael Cole, baby, on Twitter, says, I'm about to make, and this is what he said, and I quote, I'm about to make you look real dumb, but you already do that yourself. Someone please backtrack from this quote and tell me whose tweet this response stemmed from. Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll give you the time to think about where you went wrong. At this point, if you're Dave Not Meltzer on Twitter, I hope you're watching this video, buddy. You have some proper grammar problem. You have a grammar problem on Twitter. You see that? You see this tweet right here that you just put on Bree? This tweet right here. This tweet. You see where it says stem from? You're supposed to put a period on, and the D on don't worry is supposed to be capitalized. So, at least you could have done was put a period there, but you probably have fucking fat fingers, you fucking fat slob. And also, you said I'm about to make you look real dumb, but you already do that yourself. Take away the S and you will sound a whole lot better on that quote-unquote insult on social media. My friend, you're probably a 500-pound slob who lives under his fucking mother or father's basement, can't get a job, who can't get pussy, who can't get no type of fucking attention. So, you have to put a picture of Michael fucking Cole, out of all people, on your Twitter profile on social media, and you call yourself Michael Cole Baby. You must be a fucking basement-dwelling virgin who can't get no type of play, no type of pussy whatsoever. Delete yourself off of Twitter and delete yourself off of social media. You fucking fat slob. No, by the way, you probably have fucking fat fingers because you can't all of a sudden type all on social media. So, consider yourself insulted. You fucking baboon. You fucking baboon. There you go. Hope you guys got you a good laugh out of that. Now you're gonna tell me on the comment section, Chris, why are you wearing an Aaron Judge hat? Cause it is right now, from what I'm recording right now, it is 12:29 midnight, and I just got home from work literally an hour and a half ago. So I had to come home from work, sit here, give you guys the podcast. And by the time you guys see this video, you guys are probably going to get this somewhere in the afternoon by the time I come back home from work. Give me a second here. Oh, yeah, and by the way, my favorite soccer team, New York City Football Club. My favorite soccer team in all of MLS. Just letting you guys know there. Today on the podcast, I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of news today. I got a bunch of stuff here I want to go over with you guys here today on the podcast. Let me guys know down below in the comment section what you guys are thinking so far of the content and the podcast so far right here on the channel. Before I want to begin the podcast here and my video plugs here, I want to begin with this article. And this article really caught my attention. WWE likely moving NXT to Fox Sports 1 as counter to AEW television show. Now, before I read this article, I've heard this report on JD's Off the Script on his NXT review this past Wednesday. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this right after I read this article. AEW's television show is starting in the fall. The speculated first show for All Elite Wrestling on TNT is October 2nd, if they air the show on Wednesday nights. Now, I said this numerous times here in the podcast. If AEW is going to air their first television show on TNT on Wednesday night, they're going to have competition not only that first week, but the first month of October, because you got the basketball season that's starting around October. And on top of that, you got the MLB playoffs that's starting around that time. I'm guessing it's going to start, I believe, October 1st. I believe October 1st is the National League wild card. And then October 2nd, it's the same day as their first television show on TNT. The same day as the American League wild card game, which will be on TBS. The National League wild card game, if you guys are baseball fans, the National League wild card game will be on, I believe, ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. And then the American League wildcard game will be taking place on TBS. But the company has held off on officially announcing the plan at this point. I wonder why. There might be a really good reason why AEW is holding off on making anything official, because World Wrestling Entertainment is likely to counter the programming in some way or fashion. At this point, this new pro wrestling war certainly has Vince McMahon's attention. Why not? Dave Meltzer said during Wrestling Is Our Radio that there is a very strong possibility that World Wrestling Entertainment will try to counter AEW with NXT, as they should. Because clearly, the main roster is not going to compete with All Elite Wrestling. They're not. You might as well have Triple H compete with All Elite Wrestling. However, they might just move NXT to Fox Sports 1 in order to provide extra competition for the Elite. This is what Dave Meltzer reported, and I quote, "I think that's the logical move. Yes, I believe Vince will do that. I don't know that he's doing it, but thinking like Vince, I believe that's what he'll do." End quote. Brian Alvarez said that it's crazy that there were no talks of moving NXT to Fox Sports 1 before, but with AEW coming around, it's possibly gonna happen. Quote unquote. This is very interesting and could be considering a strong counter to AEW's audience. However, as we previously reported, the idea of moving NXT to Fox Sports 1 has been strongly floated out there in the past. If anything, Meltzer noted that WWE will set up their weekly FS1 talk show up to compete against All Elite Wrestling. All Elite Wrestling will offer a live television show. As long as NXT is still pre-taped, it might not do that much damage, but it will still certainly take a considerable chunk out of AEW's fan base, or at least cause them to flip between TNT and Fox Sports 1 if World Wrestling Entertainment does indeed make this move. I am going to state my opinion on this. Now, I know you guys are going to have your opinions also, but I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to stick to my opinion here. Is it good to put NXT on Fox Sports 1? The answer to that question is yes. I think it's a great move. I think it's a fantastic move. Because if you think about it, yeah, sure, NXT still does good even though it's pre-taped. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, if I'm NXT, if I'm Triple H, I'm going to consider moving NXT to Fox Sports 1 because at the same time, not only it's good for everybody else in NXT, they get their eyes on live television, and it's great exposure. Also, at the same time, we get to avoid the spoilers. I'd rather watch NXT live than have it pre-taped, so that way we get to avoid the spoilers on Twitter, for social media, stuff like that. You know how hard it is to be watching NXT at the same time avoid the spoilers? Because as of right now, the spoilers between now going into August is live right now on social media. It's live on Twitter. Even though I haven't looked at the fucking spoilers. I haven't looked at it at all. I haven't looked at it. But the spoilers are out there, and I'm trying my best, and I'm really trying my best to avoid the spoilers. I'm really trying to. I am. Storms is. Everybody else is. Everybody else is trying to avoid the spoilers so they don't know what's happening. I'd rather find out on live television, or at least on that tape show, what happened, than read the spoilers and then it has no emotion when it happens. You know how hard that is? This is a great move if this even happens. I would love NXT to go to Fox Sports 1. I would love it. At the same time, is it competition for fucking AEW? You damn right. You think for 1 second Vince and the main roster is gonna give AEW competition? Fuck no. Fuck no. I don't give a fuck if you got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, fucking AJ Styles. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They're not competition to AEW. The only competition there is that AEW right now is NXT. Look at that roster in NXT. It's just as good as the AEW roster. It's just as good. It's just as good. You got the Adam Coles, you got the Garganos, you got the soon to return Ciampa, you got the Keith Lees, you got the Matt Riddles. Who else do you have there on NXT that can compete with AEW? Almost everybody else there. When it comes to the women, look at the women. You got Shayna Baszler, you got Candice LeRae, you got a newly heel-turned Io Shirai, you got Mia Yim, Bianca Belair. The list goes on and on. Hell, I'd rather see NXT compete with All Elite Wrestling than the main roster. And hell, it'll be good if I can flip the channel one time from Fox Sports 1 to NXT to TNT to AEW. But like I said, if AEW is gonna debut the television show in October, they're gonna have that first month of competition. Who knows? NXT can move to Fox Sports 1 before October. They can do this right now. Or they can do it in somewhere around August or somewhere around September. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if NXT gets moved to fucking Fox Sports 1 in the middle of September. Because that way, when AEW announces the freaking TV show, they're locked and loaded. At the same time, and like I said, at the same time, if you're AEW and you're going to debut your television show on October 2nd, you're going to have some competition. Not only with fucking NXT on fucking Fox Sports 1, you got the NBA season that's going to start soon in October. And on top of that, you got the MLB playoffs. On top of that, which starts around the beginning of October. So if I'm AEW, you really want to consider moving the television show to a later date? I mean, unless if AEW had thought about putting the TV show to October since the company debuted, fine. Stick to your guns. I respect that. Stick to your guns. But at the same time, you really got to think about the competition that's coming up in October. If NXT is going to move to Fox Sports 1, then you got the NBA season, the opening week to the NBA. Then you got the playoffs for baseball in October. Around that time, around October 1st, October 2nd, you got the 2 wildcard games for the National League and the American League for the wild cards. AEW, I mean, sure, AEW is going to draw a good rating, but not the high ratings that they're expected to do because of that, of the sports-related competition. The basketball season, the baseball playoffs. NXT on Fox Sports 1. You know how big of a move that is? That's one hell of a move. if I'm Triple H. At the same time, if you're NXT, you get more eyes in the product. It's live television. It's more exposure to NXT. And on top of that, Fox Sports 1 draws a big audience. A really big audience. At the same time, don't be surprised if NXT on Fox Sports 1 draws better ratings than Raw and SmackDown put together. The only question I have is, with NXT being moved to fucking Fox Sports 1, what they gonna do it on? Are you gonna stick to Wednesdays? I would love it if they did it on Wednesdays. I would love it. I would love it if they did it on Wednesdays. Listen, I don't mind NXT on the network. I don't mind it. I don't really mind it, but at the same time, if you're NXT and you want to grow to a bigger audience, you gotta go live. You gotta go live. You gotta go live. I'm down with it. This competition, I'm down with it. I'm down. NXT being moved to Fox Sports 1, I fucking love it. I would love it if they did that. But at the same time, I don't mind it if they are on the network. I don't mind it. Yeah, sure, the only thing that's so negative about it is that it's pre-taped. And that we got to avoid the spoilers because people nowadays love fucking doing spoilers, dropping spoilers on fucking social media. You know how hard that is to avoid that? You know how hard that is to not read the spoilers? Listen, you know how hard it was for me during WrestleMania season when NXT was building towards NXT TakeOver New York. You don't know how bad I wanted to read the spoilers between, oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, what they got planned out for TakeOver New York. Or, for example, right now, they got plans for NXT TakeOver Toronto. I'm trying to avoid the spoilers right now. I'm trying to this very day, to this very minute, to this very second. I'm trying to avoid the spoilers. I'm trying to. And so far, I've done a good job because I'd rather watch it live on NXT on the network than reading it on social media. And it's hard nowadays. It's just hard. It's just hard. But there goes my stance on it, on this NXT being moved to Fox Sports 1. That's my taste on it. I know you guys have your opinions on it. Sound off down below in the comment section. What are your opinions? Should NXT be moved to Fox Sports 1, or should they stay on the network? Sound off in the comment section down below. But if you guys don't know who I am your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel on this Saturday, July 13th, 2019. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys are excited, and I can't really even tell, if you guys are excited for Fight for the Fallen tonight, leave a thumbs up. If you guys are also excited for Evolve tonight also, I might give you guys a review tonight on Evolve. I might give you guys a review tonight. I'm hearing that Adam Cole's going to defend the NXT Championship tonight against, I think Tozawa, I believe, from 205 Live, I believe. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen the Evolve card yet, but I will see it when I get back home from work. I'll probably get back I'll probably see it when I get back home from work. I'll probably go watch the card. And then from there, give you guys my stance on Twitter about it. But if you guys are excited for Fight for the Fallen and Evolve tonight, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys are thinking so far of the podcast. And also, leave a comment down below what are your predictions for Extreme Rules tomorrow, as the show is in Philadelphia for tomorrow night, live on the WWE Network. Also, if you guys are new to the channel and you're watching this video for the very first time, or you're visiting the channel for the very first time, I want you guys to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Ring those bells, guys, for all notifications. Check out episode 37 of the podcast yesterday on Friday. Episode 37 live on the channel right now. Why WWE can't admit AEW is competition. I wonder why they can't admit that AEW is competition. I wonder why. Is it because of Jericho? Is it because of Omega? Is it because of Cody and Dustin for their match from their match at fucking Double or Nothing? Is it because of the Young Bucks? You tell me, guys. You tell me. Link down below. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out some gaming content that I did on Thursday. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled episode number 1, Road to Glory. The evolution of Crash has officially begun. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of the screen. Oh, and by the way, if this Crash Team Racing episode 1 video gets between 10 to 15 likes, you guys will get episode number 2 next week, next Thursday here on the channel. So be sure to check out Crash Team Racing Gameplay episode number 1, Road to Glory. NXT review live on the channel right now. Heel EO has finally arrived. Listen, this was necessary. EO turning heel was necessary. Was very necessary. Link to NXT review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out SmackDown Live review as well, live on the channel right now. Right now, as I'm looking at the numbers for SmackDown Live review, it is right now at 253 views with 13 thumbs up. I appreciate every single one of you that showed love to SmackDown Live review. Live on the channel right now, Kevin Owens dropped a major truth-filled pipe bomb. People were comparing this pipe bomb to the CM Punk pipe bomb. People, shut the fuck up. Now, those are two different pipe bombs. Link to SmackDown Live review will be in the annotation that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out Monday Night Raw review as well from this past Monday. Video right now is at 142 views with 20 thumbs up and 15 comments. Like I said, I appreciate every single one of you that showed love to Raw review and SmackDown review on back-to-back days. Even the janitor himself, Raw was so bad this past Monday, even the janitor himself couldn't clean this mess of a show. Link to Raw review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are connecting with your boy Chris on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring, and Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. And like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content so far, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also ring those bells for all notifications. Let's get with the podcast here, starting episode number 38 with news and rumors right here on the podcast. We're going to begin episode number 38 with the Reality Podcast with Roman Reigns taking a shot at Shane McMahon. I wonder what shot that he took. I wonder. I seriously wonder. The presence of Shane McMahon in the majority of high-level storylines on programming has certainly thrown off a few fans, including myself. And given that it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon, they may have to keep enduring it for at least a few more months just yet. I'm going to say this right now. If you are a fan of Shane McMahon, I swear to God, you have a fucking mental problem. A mental problem. Reigns and Taker are set to go head to head with Shane and Drew McIntyre this Sunday, but in recent weeks, the boss has actually come up short on television, which again leads many to believe that he'll eventually have this hand raised at Extreme Rules. Either way, though, Roman is able to have a few laps while it lasts as we continue the countdown to the pay-per-view. This is what Roman Reigns tweeted, and I quote, "A kick to the face from Cedric Alexander on Raw, a stunner from Owens' fight on SmackDown Live, and on Sunday, a tombstone and a spear from the dead man and me. Damn, terrible week for y'all. Hashtag Extreme Rules." This is what Roman Reigns tweeted a couple of days ago. Some fans have suggested that Kevin Owens' promo on SmackDown Live on Tuesday could actually be leading to a rematch between himself and McMahon. If that happens, it seemed like SummerSlam would be a great destination to host the match. For Reigns, though, it's seemingly likely that once he gets done with his feud opposite Shane, he's going to move on to bigger and better things on SmackDown Live. He's quite clearly got what it takes to be in the WWE Championship mix once again, but it certainly feels that the company is going to be hesitant to do so. After all, the last few times he's gone after the title, the last few times he's gone after the title haven't exactly garnished garnered the best of responses from the WWE Universe. And with Kofi Kingston as champion, that trend will certainly almost continue. I have no idea what Roman Reigns is going to do after Extreme Rules. I have no idea. I have no idea. I actually don't know. What would you plan for Roman Reigns after Extreme Rules? Roman against Shane at SummerSlam? Yeah. I'm hearing it's KO against Shane at SummerSlam. From what I'm hearing. Shane McMahon has to get off of television. At this point, I just don't care. People are literally supporting Shane McMahon on social media saying, oh, Shane's a great heel. Shane's a great competitor. Shane's doing his job as a heel. So you accept mediocrity. You accept stupidity on your live television set. You know every single time, and I've done this for the past couple of weeks. You know every single time Shane McMahon is on my television screen, I mute the television set. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing the man speak. It's the same shit every single week. Yet people are going to continue to support this garbage like as if it's the fucking World Series Championship. As if it's the best thing on live television. You do know everything that Kevin Owens said on that work shoot promo that he did on SmackDown Live was completely fucking facts. Facts to the point that everybody was comparing Kevin Owens' promo to CM Punk's promo. What was so special about Kevin Owens' promo to CM Punk's promo? Well, why are you comparing those two? Why are you comparing those two? It's literally beyond me. I would never compare Owens' promo, although it was really, really good, to CM Punk's promo that was fucking legendary. Well, how would you guys book Roman Reigns between now and SummerSlam? Listen, if I'm booking Roman Reigns right now, I wouldn't even put him in the WWE Championship picture. I wouldn't. It's too soon. Yeah, sure, Reigns has been back since March. I don't care. Yeah, we all know Roman Reigns won an ESPY for his return from leukemia, from his win with leukemia. Congrats on Roman, but at the same time, it's just a moment. Yeah, sure, it was one of the most emotional nights in Raw on this past year, in this year. One of the most emotional moments so far this year. Yeah, I'll give him that. But at the same time, I still find this fucking ironic and quite fishy how Reigns decides to come back before WrestleMania. You do know Reigns came back, I believe, 5 weeks ago before WrestleMania? He came back, I believe, 5 to 6 weeks before WrestleMania. Everybody was panicking and thinking, oh, Roman Reigns is going to be in the Universal Championship picture. You know how ironic and fishy that would look? Oh, Reigns comes back from cancer. He beat cancer. He came back. WrestleMania. He's fighting for the Universal Championship. A championship that he's never lost. Okay. You know how fishy that would be? Very fishy. Very fishy. It came to a point where people were really thinking that Roman Reigns never had cancer to begin with. Now, did I think that Roman Reigns had cancer? Yeah, I think he did. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, you gotta ask. And when it comes to Vince McMahon and this fucking company, you have to ask yourself this question. Roman Reigns was the Universal Champion before Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns didn't want to make the trip to Crown Jewel. He didn't want to make the trip to Crown Jewel. He didn't want to even make the trip. So I'm thinking to myself, Roman was the Universal Champion. He was supposed to defend the championship in a triple threat match between Brock and Strowman. Roman never made the show because of his leukemia. Then 4 months later, he comes back as if nothing happened to him. He comes back as if nothing happened to him. He gets thrown in this Shield situation against Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre at Fastlane, which led to a Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match at WrestleMania. At this point, how would you book Roman Reigns for SummerSlam? I don't know. Sound off in the comment section. How would you book Roman Reigns for SummerSlam? What else I have here on the news, man? I have a ton of news here. I want to say some for Sunday. I want to say some for Sunday. New match reportedly to be added for Extreme Rules. Now, this is a rumor, so if anything, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know. But this is just a rumor. Extreme Rules is tomorrow night, and it looks like the company is stacking a big event. They have 10 matches, and that's about enough, but they could be adding just one more. The WWE is reportedly leaning towards adding Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler to Extreme Rules, according to John Pollock of Post Wrestling. This is interesting because this came hours after the report came out that the company had decided to call it a day with the Extreme Rules card. It looks like the Kabuki Warriors will have to keep waiting for the chance to face the Iconics, though. Extreme Rules could now have 11 matches, according to this new report. If you're going to book Kevin Owens against Dolph Ziggler for Extreme Rules, who's going to win this matchup? I would love to fucking know who's going to win this matchup. If your guess is Kevin Owens, ding, 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 you are correct. You win. This is already a predictable card from what I'm looking at here on my fucking tablet. This is already a fucking predictable card. Very predictable. Now, speaking of Kevin Owens, possible spoiler for Kevin Owens' SummerSlam matchup. I said this yesterday on the podcast. You're going to book Kevin Owens against Shane McMahon at SummerSlam. If Kevin Owens wins, Shane is gone, and Kevin Owens gets a future WWE Championship match. A future WWE title match. If Shane McMahon wins, Kevin Owens gets shipped to Monday Night Raw. That's how I'm doing it. That's how I'm booking this matchup. Kevin Owens showed up on SmackDown Live this week, and he had a lot to say. SmackDown Live, when it comes to Kevin Owens' promo, was the best part of the show. However, Shane McMahon was quick to jump on the soundboard and shut off any microphone that KO could get his hands on. Owens' message was quite clear. Shane McMahon shouldn't be on WWE television. Kevin Owens, we're not worthy. He wanted to make a point that Vince McMahon's son is taking time on the show for superstars who deserve the opportunity. However, Owens was quickly ran off by security. The former Universal Champion did return during the show's closing moments to deliver a stunner to Shane McMahon before running off. Owens later commented that this was the most liberating experience of his career. I read that yesterday on the podcast. It should feel great because the company is reportedly building him to be a Stone Cold level babyface. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. There is not going to be another Stone Cold Steve Austin. In my honest opinion, Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest ever. On the microphone, in the ring, selling. One of the greatest of all time. You shouldn't have to duplicate what Stone Cold Steve Austin has done for this company. You shouldn't at all. That shouldn't even be a thought at this point. The Wrestling Observer newsletter stated that timing-wise, this feud seemed to sync up with SummerSlam. It would be interesting to see Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon at SummerSlam, but we've already seen those two battle in a Hell in a Cell match in the past. Only the heel and babyface's roles were reversed. Sami Zayn helped KO win that match, but it's unclear if Zayn will be returning to television anytime soon. It will also be rather ironic if McMahon versus Owens gets booked on such a big stage like SummerSlam, because it kind of defeats the point KO was trying to make when he said that Shane is taking up spots on the card from other superstars. This match would mean Shane McMahon is booked for another one of the biggest shows of the year for his father's company instead of someone else. This is 100% factual, especially on the last part of the report that I have here. The report says here, this match, no, I'm trying to find that. Okay. The last page, the last part of the report said, because it kind of defeats the point KO was trying to make when he said that Shane is taking a spot from the card from other superstars. Why would you want to have Shane McMahon on the card for SummerSlam? Didn't you say, Mr. Kevin Owens, sir, that Shane is taking a spot from everybody else on the roster? On the main roster? Why challenge Shane to a match at SummerSlam if that's what you really feel about? That kind of makes Kevin Owens sound like a fucking hypocrite at the same time. But I've said this on the podcast yesterday, and I'm gonna say it here today. If you're gonna book KO versus Shane at SummerSlam, if KO wins, Shane is out of television, and KO, for his reward for beating Shane McMahon, KO gets a future WWE Championship match in the near future. It doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be in September or October. In the near future. But if you're gonna have Shane win, KO gets shipped over to Raw. Who knows what's gonna happen here? Sound off in the comment section. How you feel about a Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon match at SummerSlam? Yes, we've seen it before. 2 years ago inside Hell in a Cell. We've seen it. Do you want to see that match again? This time the roles are reversed. Sound off down below in the comments section. Speaking of this company, the company reportedly has a date for the next Saudi Arabia event. More blood money. WWE and Saudi Arabia's relationship will continue despite fans pleading for them to stop filling their pockets with blood money, as Kenny Omega put it. The company has been canceling a lot of dates from an advertised UK tour, and it appears that they were gearing up for another Saudi Arabia event. Brad Shepard reports that the company's next Saudi Arabian event will take place on November the 1st. This is a tentative date, since the Saudis can always request for it to be changed, as they did with the Super Showdown event. However, even though it is on a Friday, there is a way WWE could work out this event approximately to SmackDown Live on Fox coming in October. This is according to Brad Shepard, and I quote, according to a source in the company, the next show in Saudi Arabia is tentatively scheduled to be Friday, November 1st, 2019. As I reported weeks ago, a source told me that there wouldn't necessarily be a conflict, concerning the Saudi show is more nostalgia-based and less storyline-based. Ultimately, though, the date is tentative, being this far out, as we've already seen at least one date change prior. End quote. It will be interesting to see who the company booked for the next Saudi Arabian event. So far, the shows have been filled with nostalgia, because that's what the prince likes. However, they might eventually run out of legends they can call soon enough. The fact that Saudi Arabia wants these events on a Friday might also eventually present a problem with their Fox show, but that might be a bridge they will cross soon enough. I was watching DJ Storm's video yesterday on Taker and Sting being predicted for the November 1st Saudi Arabia show. Now, I have no idea at this point how they're even going to do this. Now, I know everybody else doesn't want to see Taker versus Sting. But to be honest, at the same time, I do. But also, también, at the same time, I don't. Look at the match between Taker and Goldberg at Super Showdown this past May. You think for 1 second I want to see Sting go through that same thing against Taker? No. Now, I was watching Storms on the Lightning Flash update. I think that was the video that he said. Let me see this real fast. I think that's what he did say. Let me see. Give me a... Yes, it was. It was the Lightning Flash update from yesterday. From Friday yesterday. He said, Storm said, that he would have had Taker versus Sting at WrestleMania 31. I can see that. I can see that. But then again, it would have been better on a much larger audience if that happened at WrestleMania 32. The reason why I say WrestleMania 32 is because the simple fact that after WrestleMania 31, it was reported back then at WrestleMania 31, it was reported back then after WrestleMania that Sting and The Undertaker was going to be at that Raw after WrestleMania. They was going to be on that show. They didn't even show up. Sting and Taker both didn't even show up. It was reported back then that both Sting and Taker went home after WrestleMania. They weren't even in the California area. They weren't. You could have simply built Taker versus Sting just like Cena and Rock did for that 1 year. Hell, you could have had Sting and Taker show up at WrestleMania 31 after the Raw, after WrestleMania. You could have had Sting and Taker show up, build that matchup, officially announce the matchup for WrestleMania 32 in Dallas on the biggest crowd, quote unquote, the biggest crowd in WrestleMania history. At the same time, I'm thinking to myself, everybody does not want to see this matchup because of what happened with Taker and Goldberg at Super Showdown. I would have booked, low-key, this is what I would have done. Instead of Taker versus Goldberg at Super Showdown, you should have booked Sting versus Taker at Super Showdown. You should have done that as well. Then, if anything, in November, when it comes to November, you can book Taker versus Goldberg. Because at the same time, when this match was announced for Super Showdown, Goldberg barely had time to prepare and work out and go to the gym and get back in normal shape. Taker, as well, barely had any time to prepare and work out for that matchup. They barely had any time. Barely any time. So, I don't know. Do I want to see a Sting versus Taker match? You should have gave this to me at least 4 years ago. No, sorry about that. Yeah, 4 years ago. You should have gave me that at least 4 years ago. 4 years ago. 2015, you should have gave me that. Going into 2016, which makes it 3 years ago. 3 years too late, Vince. 3 years too late. Now, is it possible that they'll book Sting versus Taker for the show in November? Possible. It's possibly. Who else, when it comes to the legends, who else can you call up? You can't do Brock and Taker again. That storyline's done. You can't do Triple H versus Taker. That was the last time ever in Australia in that version of Super Showdown. Who else can you call upon? What, Cena versus Taker? We already seen that at WrestleMania last year. What other legend you want to see? Taker against Batista? Dave Batista is retired already. He's retired. Who else can you call upon to face Taker at WrestleMania for the Saudi show in November? You got Sting. If Sting can come out of retirement for one night, book it. Book it. If not, don't do it. But of course, Vince has his obligations. He has to listen to whatever the prince wants. He has to listen to whatever the prince wants. So if the prince wants Taker and Sting, he's gonna get Taker and Sting. It's just that if you're gonna book Taker versus Sting, this at least should have been booked for WrestleMania. At least for Taker's final opponent. Either Sting for WrestleMania 36 in Tampa or Drew McIntyre for next year at this point. But like I said, other than that, it's just 3 years too late for me. It's just 3 years too late. Oh boy, what else do I have here? I'm trying to look for more stories because I'm trying to save some for tomorrow. I'm trying to save some for tomorrow. Let me see let me see what do I have here. I'm trying to find something here. Oh, this Vince Russo story. From what I've heard about this story, this Vince Russo story. I've heard about this. I'm gonna give you guys a few more stories, and then I'm gonna go over Extreme Rules preview and predictions. Who reportedly next bringing Vince Russo back to the WWE? Who you guys think? Who you guys think stopped Vince Russo from coming to WWE? Who you guys think it is? Wrestling Entertainment is going through plenty of changes. Two big changes came in the form of new executive directors Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. There was also apparently an idea to bring Vince Russo back, but that was quickly shut the fuck down. Brad Shepard previously reported that Vince Russo's name in mud in Wrestling Entertainment. However, he went on to elaborate that when the idea was mentioned to Vince McMahon, that Bruce Pritchard was the one who shot down that idea. This is what Brad Shepard reported on Twitter, and I quote, according to a source, Vince Russo was presented by Vince McMahon as someone to bring on to help with wrestling and big picture planning as part of the recent changes. I'm told Bruce Pritchard nixed it. End quote. Vince Russo was a part of Wrestling Entertainment during a huge period in the company's history. The Attitude Era, to be exact. It looks like the days are long gone, and even though Vince McMahon might be bringing back some names from the past, Vince Russo won't be one of them. The fact that Vince McMahon tried to bring Vince Russo back is fucking crazy. I don't know why Vince would even bring up Vince Russo. This is not the Attitude Era. I think if Vince Russo came back and he was head creative, he would try to do the exact same thing he did back in 98 and 99 and 2000 and so on and so forth. Well, 98, 99, because I think Vince Russo went to WCW around 2000. I believe around late 99, early 2000. I believe so, but I like Vince Russo. I liked him back then when he was telling great storylines, but now I just don't care. I just don't care. I got a few more stories before we do Extreme Rules preview and predictions here on the podcast. Why WWE reportedly made big change to Extreme Rules match. Hear this. Wrestling Entertainment has a lot of things going on with Extreme Rules on Sunday. After all, there are 10 matches on the card. This is like the B-level version of WrestleMania. Bayley is currently the SmackDown Women's Champion, but she will have her work cut out for her on Extreme Rules. The Hugger is facing both Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Apparently, Cross is under the assumption that she and Bliss will become co-champions if they can win the match. However, this was not the original plan at all. Dave Meltzer opened up on Wrestling Insider Radio about why World Wrestling Entertainment made such a big change to the SmackDown Women's Championship match at Extreme Rules. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, "The handicap match was a late change, and everything had happened this Tuesday without Alexa Bliss was because of her sinus infection." Yeah, sure. And they rewrote that whole storyline, so they may have done an Alexa Bliss Bayley beat the clock challenge, but the reason that made no sense was because the end result was because of Alexa Bliss's condition. They are going to do a handicap match to protect Alexa. So in doing that, they had to come up with a reason, and they had this beat the clock thing. So Nikki Cross had to win, even though Nikki Cross is a babyface, she had to ask for the handicap match. End quote. WWE needs to figure something out because Alexa Bliss is legitimately sick. It's nice that she works for a company that will let her take time off, or at least take it easier on her if she's not feeling well. Now, Nikki Cross will help in lighten the load for her as they go after Bayley. Since the handicap match was apparently a change of plans, this might also dampen some fans' hope that all of this is orchestrated to be Sasha Banks' return to the WWE. I don't even know what to even say about this at all. I really don't know what to say at all about this whole handicap match planned out for Extreme Rules. I just have no idea what the fuck is going on. But Nikki Cross in NXT was fucking amazing. Bayley on the main roster was just terrible until this year, until Money in the Bank. If this leads, and I'm going to say this right now, if this leads to a Sasha Banks return, this will make Sasha Banks the biggest hypocrite in wrestling. This would end up having her be the biggest hypocrite ever. Now, at the same time, if I'm Vince and I'm making this storyline for Bayley and SummerSlam, I said this yesterday on the podcast, and I'm going to say this again. TM has mentioned this. Storm has mentioned this. And I'm going to agree, and I'm going to sit here and agree with what those two individuals have said. If you're going to have Sasha Banks come back at Extreme Rules on Sunday, now let's say Bayley retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. Let's say, for example, that happens. And Sasha Banks comes back. There is no other alternative but to turn this woman heel. You have to turn Sasha Banks heel. That's if. And that is a big ass if. If Sasha decides to come back to the WWE. Now, mind you, we haven't seen Sasha Banks since WrestleMania, when they lost the the Women's Tag Team Championships. This could be a big thing going into SummerSlam. Now, I asked the question, and I said this on SmackDown while I was live tweeting SmackDown Live. Oh wow, they got combined no hitter. Nice. What was I gonna say here? Okay, I was live tweeting this on during SmackDown Live. A heel Sasha versus a babyface Bayley would be a good thing for SummerSlam. It'll have that NXT feel that they had that rivalry back at TakeOver Brooklyn, which, in my honest opinion, one of the greatest women's matches I have ever fucking seen. But, you gotta ask yourself this question. Do you trust a company like WWE to tell a compelling storyline between a heel Sasha Banks and a babyface Bayley? Do you even trust this company at all to tell that story. No. No. Because I bet you money, if, let's say they do plan to have Sasha versus Bayley at SummerSlam, and Sasha beats Bayley, how long is it going to take for us to hate Sasha Banks to a point where she has to drop the SmackDown Women's Championship? And then another question, is Sasha Banks on Raw, or is she on SmackDown? Or is she on SmackDown? That is another question I have to sit here and ask. And ask. Seriously. And on top of that, I know I'm off topic here, but if Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman is going to take charge of Raw and SmackDown starting Monday night, they have to kill the wild card rule immediately. They have to kill that rule. Kill it. Kill it. My God, kill it. Please, kill it. Speaking of Extreme Rules, how have Extreme Rules tickets sold so far? Now, this will be the last piece of information that I'll give you guys before the Extreme Rules preview and predictions part of the podcast. Extreme Rules is tomorrow night and let me see. Okay, I just messed up there. Extreme Rules is this Sunday, as you guys even know. We already took a look of how AEW Fight for the Fallen tickets have sold. I'll report that next. But now let's take a look at Philly show at Extreme Rules. They were offering 2-for-1 tickets for Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which seemed to have helped a certain extent. However, it is not likely to be a totally sold out show. Now, I'm hearing that Storms is going to be at Extreme Rules Sunday. Have a blanket and a cup of NyQuil next to you, bud. And a blanket, and a nice, soft blanket. Not too hot, though. Not too Tempur-Pedic. Just a soft blanket. They were offering 2-for-1 tickets for Extreme Rules Sunday, as you guys know. When looking at Ticketmaster, there were only 645 tickets left for Extreme Rules. Considering the fact that the Wells Fargo Center has a capacity of 19,500, that's impressive. Of course, some areas will be blocked off due to the staging area, so those sections weren't even sold. When looking at the secondary market, things are very interesting because there are more tickets available than on the actual Ticketmaster site. As of this writing, there are currently 495 available tickets on the upper deck, 111 on the riser seats, 309 in the lower bowl section, and 85 on the floor. That accumulates to 1,000 exactly, with the lowest price being $45 and the highest $1,176 ticket for floor seats. Has Extreme Rules sold out? No. The majority of the secondary market are resale prices for tickets for Extreme Rules. Now, obviously Extreme Rules is not going to sell out. Now we're going to go to Fight for the Fallen, which will happen here tonight. Which will happen at some case tonight. AEW's Fight for the Fallen is happening tonight, as you guys know as well. If you look up tickets on Ticketmaster, then things look pretty good. There are a few tickets available, but there are far more sold seats than ones that are available. If you cruise the secondary market for AEW Fight for the Fallen tickets, there are 391 tickets on StubHub. As of this writing, with prices starting as low as $20 for the farthest ones out. The most expensive ticket on the secondary market looks to be $624 ringside tickets. The capacity of Daly's place is 5,500 according to its online listing. So as you can see, they will be packing that place pretty well. And I'll show you guys the diagram for Fight for the Fallen. As you guys know, this looks pretty good. Right there. I think Fight for the Fallen will sell out eventually because you guys know last minute ticket sales are obviously going to sell out. So obviously everybody is gonna want to be at Fight for the Fallen. That's gonna happen tonight. And if you guys are watching it for free, I think it's on Bleacher Report. I believe it's gonna be live tonight. I believe so. If you guys are watching Fight for the Fallen tonight, I hope it's a good show. Low key, I really do hope that it's a good show. Now that's the end of the news portion of the podcast. Now we are going to do the preview and predictions for Extreme Rules for this Sunday, which is tomorrow night, from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, if I can find the fucking card. Menus, blah, blah, blah. Alright. Extreme Rules 2019. Matches. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go from the bottom all the way to the top. Here. The Revival. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder will defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against the Usos. Is there even a point to even predict this show? Honestly, think about it. Is there even a point to predict this show? I don't give a shit about the Revival, even though they're a great team. The Usos, they're one of my favorite tag teams right now on the company. But if I was to pick one, I'll probably get the Usos. I'll probably pick the Usos to win the Raw Tag Team Championships on Sunday night at Extreme Rules. So I'll pick the Usos to win the Raw Tag Team Championships over the Revival. Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match. I don't even think Braun Strowman will even show up because I'm hearing that he's injured and they want to give some time for his injury. But if he does come back, I would ask Strowman win over Lashley. But then again, in the back of my mind, I'm going to say that Bobby Lashley can win over Braun Strowman. I don't know. Something in the back of my mind will say that Lashley will beat Strowman, but in reality, I think Strowman will beat Lashley in this last man standing match on Sunday. Ricochet will defend the United States Championship against AJ Styles. Now, we've seen this match not once, but twice already on Monday Night Raw. What makes you think for a third time I'm going to care about this match? Ricochet beat Styles, Styles beat Ricochet. Come on. Seriously? Although I think this will be one of the best matches of the night because the simple fact that they're going to have more time. I'm going to say Ricochet beats AJ and retains the United States title. That's what I think. I honestly do think that Ricochet will beat AJ and retain the United States Championship. Because Ricochet just won the title. You're going to have him lose to AJ Styles already? Mind you, Styles just came back from injury. You think Ricochet is going to drop the championship like that? No. No. I got Ricochet defeating AJ Styles, retaining the United States Championship. Aleister Black versus Ricochet. Aleister Black versus Cesaro in a singles match, one-on-one. I think this match is going to be fantastic. Although we're going to see, finally, we're going to see Aleister Black have his SmackDown debut. Thank God. Finally. Obviously, Black is going to win. Cesaro's just there to put Black over. I think the match would be great. I think Cesaro will be the, so far, Black's best opponent so far when it comes to singles action so far. I got Black beating Cesaro with a black mass coming out of nowhere. And then, if you really want to stack the card for SummerSlam, you can book Aleister Black against Randy Orton. Fantastic. Black Mass versus RKO. Count me in. Count me in. Daniel Bryan and Rowan will defend the SmackDown Tag Team titles in a triple threat tag team match against the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods, and Heavy Machinery Otis and Tucker. Oh boy. What am I going to predict here? I'm obviously going to pick Daniel Bryan and Rowan to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Simple reason why? Simple. They're the best team right now. I mean, so far, they're a great team. You got 3 great teams there. I don't see the New Day regaining back the championships. I don't see it. Heavy Machinery, it's possible that they win. It's possible. Especially now, they're getting more time on SmackDown Live. They're getting a push. Everybody loves Heavy Machinery. I'm going to say Daniel Bryan and Rowan retain the titles, but something in the back of my mind, I got Heavy Machinery winning these SmackDown Tag Team titles. So there you go. Those are my predictions right there. Drew Gulak will defend the Cruiserweight Championship against Tony Nese. I don't really watch 205 Live that much, but I know Drew Gulak and Tony Nese are 2 incredible athletes. No question about that. I got Drew Gulak retaining the Cruiserweight Championship over Tony Nese because obviously Drew Gulak just won the championship, and how bad would it look if there was a flip-flop the championships? So there you go. I got Drew Gulak retaining the Cruiserweight Championship over Tony Nese. Handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defends against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I got Bayley retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship, and then if Sasha Banks comes back, if Sasha Banks returns, you turn Sasha full-fledged heel on Bayley, and then you give me Sasha versus Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So there you go. No holds barred tag team match. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre against the Graveyard Dogs, The Undertaker and Roman Reigns. You folks tell me who wins this matchup. Predictable. I got Undertaker and Roman Reigns winning. I bet you money. Roman, I bet you money this is exactly is gonna happen. Shane and Drew is gonna take out Roman out of the equation, and they're gonna have Taker carry the entire matchup until Reigns comes back. Reigns hits a spear, Superman punch, spear, Superman punch, spear, 1, 2, 3. And then Taker delivers a tombstone power driver to probably Drew McIntyre or Shane McMahon, depending who's left. Depending who the fuck is left. I got Taker and Roman winning over Shane and Drew. I gotta take a sip of my water. Hold on. Oh, my bad. I skipped the matchup. Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe for the coveted WWE Championship. Listen, I love Samoa Joe. But at the same time, Samoa Joe is a Raw superstar. So, by default, Kofi Kingston will retain the WWE Championship, knowing Kofi will carry the championship in the SummerSlam. Or unless if Brock comes in and cashes in. Now, I'll believe it when I see it. Brock cashes in. Most likely he'll cash in on Kofi. If I'm a betting man, and Brock does show up for Extreme Rules on Sunday, he's cashing in on Kofi. Because I asked this question. Why would Brock want to cash in on Seth when the easier target is Kofi Kingston? Not saying that Kofi Kingston is a good champion. Not saying that he's not. I'm just saying, out of Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston, who's more legit? Rollins. So Kofi is the weaker name out of both of them. You have Brock cash in if he even shows up for Sunday. You have Brock cash in on Kofi Kingston. There you go. Finally, guys, to end the podcast here, to end the preview and predictions portion of the podcast. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch will defend the Universal and Raw Women's Championships against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in a last chance winner takes all mixed tag team Extreme Rules match for the Universal and Raw Women's Championships. You tell me, folks. Again, you tell me. You tell me. Oh, and by the way, if they're booking KO versus Ziggler at Extreme Rules, KO would beat Dolph Ziggler in a quickie. Main event, I will obviously think this will be the main event. Rollins and Becky versus Corbin and Lacey for the Universal and Raw Women's Championship in a last chance winner take all mixed tag team Extreme Rules match. You tell me, folks. You sit there and you tell me who wins this match. Because I don't see Corbin and Lacey walking in as champions going into SummerSlam. I don't. You got to have two big names carry championship gold going into SummerSlam. Obviously, you're going to have Lynch and Rollins walk in to SummerSlam in Toronto as the Universal and Raw Women's Champion. I got Becky and Seth retaining their titles at Extreme Rules on Sunday. So I'm going to go over the predictions again. I got the Usos winning the Raw Women's Championship. The Raw Women's Championship. The Raw Tag Team Championships. I got Braun Strowman winning the Last Man Standing match. I got Ricochet retaining the U.S. title. I got Black winning against Cesaro. I got Daniel Bryan and Rowan retaining the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I got Drew Gulak retaining against Tony Nese. I got Bayley retaining against Bliss and Cross in the handicap match. I got Kofi retaining against Samoa Joe. I got Taker and Roman going over Shane and Drew. And I got Seth and Becky going over Corbin and Lacey for Extreme Rules Sunday tomorrow night on the WWE Network. That is it, guys, for episode number 38 of the Reality Podcast. If you guys enjoyed, leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought of the podcast. And also, leave a comment down below. What are your predictions for Extreme Rules tomorrow night on the WWE Network? And if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit the subscribe button down below. Those balls, guys, for all notifications. Check out episode 37 of the podcast yesterday, live on the channel right now. Episode 1 of Road to Glory, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, live on the channel right now. NXT review, live on the channel right now. SmackDown Live review, of course, live on the channel right now. And, of course, Monday Night Raw review as well. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are connecting with your boy Chris on social media. Twitter, Chris from Knowing, and Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. And like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button down below and ring those bells, guys, for all notifications for content on the channel. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll probably see you guys tonight for the Evolve pay-per-view review. I'll probably give you guys a review on the channel as well, if depending how I'm feeling later on tonight. If not, if I'm not gonna give you guys the Evolve review, then I will see you guys tomorrow for episode number 39 of the Reality Podcast with the remaining news I have. And then, of course, I will give you guys a double upload tomorrow, as I will give you guys episode number 39 of the Reality Podcast and also Extreme Rules review and results. Until then, I am Chris. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video all over social media. And I will see you guys probably tonight for either Evolve review, or I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode number 39 of the Reality Podcast and also Extreme Rules review. Until then, talk to you guys later.